Gents, smell have a Coke and a smile around on a Sunday, my Sabbath. But I don't look at this as work. Like Confucius says, you do what you like, you don't have to wake a day in your life. So this really isn't work. This is my final rant for the night. I hope nothing else pops into my head because I get to go to my bed early. I have an early morning tomorrow. So self-reliance. Now, I came across the essay by Ralph Waldo Emerson through reading Napoleon Hill's work. And that shaped my personality as it is because I like doing things for myself. So I was already an independent person. And growing up, I was taught that God helps those who helps themselves, and by the sweat of your brow you shall eat. So being self-reliant was always a part of me. Now, it cemented in me with Kevin Costner, the movie with Kevin Costner, I think The Field of Dreams. This is way back then. I can't remember what it was. Anyway, the thing was, someone or something told Kevin Costner to build a baseball stadium. And he's like, what? And the voice said, if you build it, they will come. And that struck a chord in me. I don't know why. But it did. And as I got older, I understood. That makes sense. That's exactly what I was taught as a child. God helps those who helps themselves. And I think Julia Cameron has said it. I read it in one of her books. That's in the chit chat, fireside chit chat list. Julia Cameron's books, The Artist's Way, The Vein of Gold. And there's 3 other books she read that I love, but those 2 hit me the hardest. And she said, when you move, the universe moves towards you. I said, that's the same thing. God helps those who helps themselves. And gentlemen, you ought to be self-reliant. Now, I'm going to go on a tangent, but it pertains to self-reliance because this is a gentleman I was friends with. I'm still friends with him because that's my main man too. His church was wanted to raise money for scholarships for their students. And they were selling raffles, so I bought a raffle ticket or 2. So, I asked him, how much members in your church? And he said 5,000. I said, oh, okay. So I bought the tickets, and then I waited 3 months and asked him, how did it go after the raffle? How did it go? Blank, blank, blank. They raised enough money. They would have liked to raise more, but they raised enough. So I waited a month and I went back to him. So I put him to the side. I said, take no offense to this, right? Now, this was coming from my background of self-reliance. So I say, so, I don't know, because I think he's a junior member in the church, in the leadership. They say, maybe, I don't know if you have any say whether you can introduce this to the church or the other people, the people higher up. But why don't you ask your members to put $1 a week aside for 1 year so that in the event something like what just happened comes up, they won't be caught off guard and running around like a headless chicken trying to get money. Why don't they do something towards helping their children as opposed to depending on a raffle? So he said, okay, he presented to them. So now I waited 3 months. So he said he hasn't heard from the people, oh God, what do you call it? The people above him. All right. 3 months passed, I asked. So I said, why don't you introduce it to the church? So he said, you know what, when he gets opportunity, he will. Now 6 months, he told the church that. I didn't say anything for a month, so I asked, so what did they say? Oh, they didn't particularly like it. Now, the reason this came about, the self-reliance rant came about, because this is what started the rants. He came back and asked for me to buy raffle tickets. Now, this was back in 2010. It's 2018. So I said, all right. I said, now for this, now I got to pull you aside. We got to have a word. And I told him this exactly what I can tell you. Now, if 5,000 people gave $1,000 a week for 1 year, that's more or less 200, I think $270,000 per se. Let's call it 250 for round numbers. So I say, in 1 year, they could have raised $250,000. Excuse me, 8 years. That's $2 million. Not only that, I told him there was more I wanted to offer, and I'll tell you what it was, what the others were. Let them start a small business. So you teach the young people in the church to be self-reliant also. And they could have done car washes like we did in church as children to pay for our trips. We'd have a car wash every month. We'd have cake sales, or bake sales, whatever. We would do that also. So we did things because our pastor believed in that also. So that was modeled before me in another way. So I would pass it on to him. They could have done that. Let the young people get involved. They do the car wash. They help bake. Even make T-shirts. That was one of my hustles when I learned screen printing in school. They could have done that. So now they will make money to pay for the education themselves, so they'll take their education seriously because there's money coming out of their pocket.
200 square feet, 4 bedrooms and 4 baths. 2 of the bedrooms and 2 of the baths are actually located on the second floor.
And once the children who got their education, when they become older and they're making money, I wouldn't say they're obligated, but they should take a portion of their money, but probably 1%, and put it into the fund, because that's what made them. So the next generation is in a better position than they're in. So on and so forth. They missed out on that opportunity to teach self-reliance, to teach the young people in their church to be industrious. Like this YouTube thing. This was a book, but I decided to do this instead. So now I got to do the book on this. But because I'm used to being industrious, it does nothing to me. It just means that certain things, like for entertainment, just gets cut out. And it's not going to be no skin off my nose, because I'm used to working. That's another thing self-reliance teaches you. Hard work isn't going to do a single thing to you. Nothing. So anyway, gentlemen, they missed out on an opportunity to be self-reliant, to teach their young people in the street, and to make their children, the young people in their church appreciate their education because they're paying for it. And they missed out on an opportunity to make those children more civic-minded by returning the favor to those behind them, thus making a stronger church and building a stronger community. For $1, $1, $52. $52. That's all you had to contribute to make $2 million in 8 years. That's another lesson you could have taught those children. Like the Chinese say, patient man, flatten mountain, spoonful at a time. So children in 2010 who went away to school, they graduate. If they only got their bachelor's degree, they graduated, been in the workforce for 4 years. How much could they have contributed? Well, and what if they wanted to go back to school? They gonna have a raffle for all of them and the young ones behind. Got $2 million, $52. That's all it took. You couldn't do that. Gentlemen, that mindset can't be in you. No small-minded people in the Empress Club. $52 was all it takes
There's a balcony right there.
to alter the destiny of God knows how many children. Hey, gentlemen, keep your minds big.